Hello, everyone. Oh, JK. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Flight Check Academy Edition. Once again, my name is Knoxwar, and I'm joined by my two other co-hosts, Curly QQ and Sandy Toes. How have you been, guys?
I've been pretty good, pretty good. Um, had a lot of Academy to catch up on earlier today. How about you, Sandy?
Yeah, I left work a little early and was just kind of cramming through Academy VODs, Arena of Legends VODs, so
Yeah.
much Academy content. Makes me wish I had been paying a little bit more attention, but I think that was before I knew that we were going to be doing a podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely cramming a lot of stuff in. I was watching the 100 Thieves TLA one, or not TLA one, sorry, 100 Thieves FLA one earlier.
Yeah.
What a
So,
time that was.
yes,
That'll
that was
definitely be
a hell
something to
of a.
talk about later. Some real good content from there. But and
For
then also
sure. First
Proving
thing,
Grounds.
oh, yeah, proving grounds, that's big. Yeah, there's a ton for us to go over. First thing that I just want to let everyone know right now in Twitch chat, making our big secret announcement. We created a Discord server, so if you're interested in talking to us a little bit more, being in a little bit of a fan community for FlyQuest, come on over, join that server. I'm just gonna spam that link a couple times, and then that should be, come on over, come hang with us. We've got some good rooms already, and we'll be adding more, so feel free to come hang in the FlightCheck Discord.
Come be one of the economy class or business class.
We'll assign those roles.
We haven't really made the rules yet.
Yeah, no, we don't have roles
There's no
yet.
role. There's no business class yet. Who knows? If you get first five people in, I'll make you business class role. That's a guarantee.
Guaranteed business class. We'll figure out the perks
Guaranteed
later.
business class.
But in the meantime, I think we should probably start heading into some of our discussion. So, Noxwar, you want to kind of fill the audience in on what we're talking about today?
Yeah, I figured, well, obviously, while we're going to go over the Academy stuff and kind of go from there, I did feel it was of importance to talk about the Licorice interview with Travis. That was probably released a week ago. It was right
Yeah.
after the Dignitas match, and there was a there was a lot said from Licorice, and I think there's a lot to take away from it. And I honestly, the way he handled the interview was super mature. I was super proud of how he handled the situation because you can tell he's kind of hurting with how the split's gone so far, and the fact that he's so open and honest about it, I was feeling for him straight up. Like I think he's been great so far with how he's been handling the whole situation.
Yeah, I watched the interview earlier today, and it was tough. Like it was a bit of a tearjerker, if I'm being honest. Like you can really see that it felt like he put a lot of pressure on himself this split, and whether some of that was internal pressures or maybe external that he was feeling. It's a lot to come into a team of mostly rookies and be that veteran leadership when you've never really had to be in that role before.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he is only a veteran, and I don't want to say this in a bad light. He's only a veteran in technicality sense because he's been around a while, but it's been an academy and some other lower level brackets. So in terms of LCS specifically, he's not that much of a veteran. They're all just kind of entering it together, aside from Johnson, who I believe is this his second year now.
Yes, because
Yeah.
his first year was with Dignitas, and he had Afromu as a support.
Yeah, so in terms of LCS, everyone here is pretty green, and so in having him be technically the veteran of it all, that is absolutely a lot of pressure for him, and it explains a little bit as to why sometimes things didn't seem quite as coordinated when we were making dives or starting fights, but then pulling back.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think, Licorice was at Worlds in 2018, so I would say that's a pretty big, point in terms of experience. But the thing that really revealed to me, like what was, I'm not sure if it was 2018 or 2019, but that's besides the point. He was at Worlds. That's what matters. He made it to Worlds. That's good enough.
Do you mean Licorice or Jose Diota?
Licorice.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And so the thing that really stood out to me in the interview was one moment when he was talking about how back on Cloud9, he would potentially make a call, and then Blabber would jump in and be like, no, we're going to fight here. We're going to fight here. And he would just kind of step back and be like, okay, that's what we're doing. And here on FlyQuest, it seems like Licorice has been much more in the position where he makes the call, but no one is really pushing back. He kind of talks about how no one else has stepped up into that confident leadership role, and it's kind of fallen to him. And so he feels like, he did not do, the best job. He knows that there were some very, high expectations made for him. And he's very aware that he had a bad split. I think he even said that the dig game was maybe one of the worst games.
Yeah, he did.
One of the worst games he had played all split long, which is really funny because that was the game that, they came so close to winning and then kind of a bit of a throw at the end. So I don't know if I would call that his worst game, because they were doing fairly well up to a point.
Doing amazing. And one thing I want to touch upon that he talked about that makes me very confident as we're going into the offseason and getting ready for summer is when he talked about how last time he performed poorly, or at least not up to standard in spring split. That time between spring and summer gave him a lot of growth. And so that means hopefully this time there's a lot more time for that, especially because, everyone's there. They'll be able to scrim all the time. They'll be able to really find out, all right, is Licorice the leader, or do we have someone else calling shots? There's a lot of time for personal and team development in the off season. And then when you consider that this is a fully fresh team, there's no one who's really been retained from the old guard, unlike a lot of other teams in the LCS and the LEC, where there's always at least one or two members who stick around for a while and you switch out one or two a year. The fact that we consistently went 1-2 and weren't at the very bottom, I think is still fairly impressive, because that means we took a season where we had to find our cohesiveness, find out who plays what role, and did the best we could,
Yeah, I feel the one thing that made our season okay so far has been the fact that we took 2 games off of TSM. That's really the big saving grace.
And look, we all know that if you can beat TSM, you can beat anyone. Or is that true? It's TSM, who knows? I think some of the things he said in the interview were really eye-opening. He talked about how they struggled to find that team identity. They tried a little bit of everything. He talked about going for the Seraphine comps, going for some of the scaling, top priority, bottom priority. They did a little bit of everything, but nothing in particular seemed to click. And that's definitely a bit of a concern for me, right? It's like 18 regular season games so far. We've got 27 left. You've got about, a month and a half, 2 months until summer starts up. So hopefully within those 2 months, there can be a lot of experimentation in trying to find team comps that work, or strategies and drafts that work for this team. But unless they do that, then I'm concerned that we're just going to end up seeing, more of the same.
For what it's worth, I'm speculating here completely. I have no basis for this opinion, but that interview did come off of a very disappointing loss to Dignitas, and as sound mind as he is talking about a lot of these things, I wouldn't be surprised if he was maybe putting a little bit of hyperbole on how none of the comps were working whatsoever. So yeah. I at least a little bit of hope there is what my thought process is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and like I said earlier, I definitely think this offseason will help not only Licorice but the whole team. Maybe, like I said, a lot of personal development, a lot of team development. Maybe expanding some champ pools, getting more comfortable on certain comps, being able to read the meta. Something I'm noticing across leagues is there's kind of a consistency of Kaisa being a very powerful bot laner. Tristana's kind of on the rise for now, and we've seen Johnson pop off on that. In terms of top laners, the Gnar is consistent, a lot of things. So just kind of definitely want to look out for those champs as we head into the summer.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, we talked about this last time too. Is let's see if Licorice finally plays Renekton. I mean, I know it's like very sinful and whatnot according to LS and whatnot, but I mean, let's be honest here. He's the one top laner in the entirety of LCS and probably LEC. I haven't checked LEC stats, but he's the one top laner who does not play this champion.
Oh,
And
everyone
in
everyone in LEC has definitely played him at least once.
So I don't know what it is about the champ for Licorice, or if it's just something with the teams not wanting him to play it. I don't know, but at least for the time being, while the champion has prevalence in draft, at some point I'd like to see FlightQuest say, hey, give this a shot, see what you can do with it.
For sure. And yeah, I think maybe the final thing we say here on the interview side is something that I just wanted to bring up is kind of, and this goes hand in hand with something that FlightQuest is doing, is a little bit of the mental health aspect. You know, you could really see just like, I know it was right after the loss, but really kind of like that dejectedness and, you know, struggling with the mental aspect of, you know, such a tough loss and things like that. And I think it's just a good reminder for all of us that, you know, these players are, you know, they're human beings, right? Like they have hearts, they have brains, you know, they really feel these things deeply. Like they're all competitors, right? At their core, you know, they're there because they want to play, they want to win. And when they don't, you know, it's not, you know, for many of them, and I would say probably the entire FlyQuest squad, a lot of them are there to prove something, right? They're all fresh faces, or Licorice there with the veteran, you know, with the veteranship and the presence, but they've all got something to prove. And I think it's a good reminder to us that, you know, take it easy on these guys sometimes. You know, it's so easy to just like pop on Twitter or on Twitch or go on Reddit in the, you know, post-game threads and just flame these guys into utter
you all suck.
yeah, just absolutely crashing on these dudes. Even on, you know, players like, you know, I see, you know, on Golden Guardians like Niles and Iconic, they just get so much crap all the time. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe they played badly, but, you know, we don't need to resort to the personal attacks. We don't need to, you know, make things worse for these guys. They know that they played bad. It's like, they're not like looking at a, you know, you go 0-8-4, you're not going to go back to VOD review and be like, you know, that's not too bad. You know, I'll take that 0.5 KD.
No, they're not me and my Silver Games going, I did nothing wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. They're not me playing with my buddies and, you know, not having any objective control while playing Hecarim or Olaf, and then, you know, you know, wow, man, my bot lane really threw there, didn't they? You know, just
I was feeling that all yesterday because I've been practicing my Urgot because he's free, and I was doing fine, and then all of a sudden the bot lane was inting. But I think to move things along, we've definitely touched upon everything about the Licorice interview. Point is, we're looking for some great development over the summer, hopefully like he's done before. And, of course, remember, players are humans. And now I think we should keep things going, touch upon Academy. And Nox War, can you explain a little bit how it works and all of that?
All right. So, yeah, perfect timing because you were speaking of development. This actual development scene has been an awesome change from years past. So Riot's gone ahead, and I love everything that they've done about this. The only issues I've had are maybe some scheduling issues here or there, or maybe some of the ping issues. But they basically integrated the amateur scenes and the academy scenes together. So you have amateur teams who have the opportunity to play against amateur teams have the opportunity to play against academy teams, and you're getting surprises in that, like, you have teams like No Org and Solified, although Solified disbanded, but you have these teams that are amateur taking games off the academy players. Like, these teams should not be dropping, because it's like it should be sending giant red alarms to some of the team owners going, maybe we didn't do our scouting well enough, because these teams are beating our academy teams, right? So to summarize the format really, really fast, so you had a half split for the academy teams, in which case they played a total of 9 games, at which point, if we're being completely honest here, there was a bit of a break for them. And then the bottom 4 teams went and split up into different brackets or different tournaments and played against amateur teams. And obviously amateurs had their own qualifiers to get into these tournaments as well. And then these tournaments played out, and then the top 2 teams from each of these brackets went on and qualified for proving grounds. And so if you finished in, I believe, the top, I think it was 6, you qualified down to the next lower bracket for the amateur team. So you got like another chance, basically. And basically all that led up to the qualifications for Proving Grounds, which is like the super mega awesome tournament, best of 3 double elimination all the way to the finals, which is a best of 5, and it's just gigantic, and I'm like in love with the format.
Yeah, it's a great format, and I think like the big takeaway for me on all the qualifications that if you didn't qualify through the, first of all, you had the Academy regular season and all the amateur tournaments. If you didn't qualify to Proving Grounds this, there's a reason. So we ultimately had all 10 of the Academy teams qualified, right? But now
Yep.
what's interesting enough to me is that, you had CLG Academy had to go all the way to the last chance gauntlet in order to make it. And you also had EG Academy and Golden Guardians Academy, having to wait second tournament. But you saw a lot of amateur teams really standing up to some of the Academy teams. I mean, number 1 and number 3 from the first tournament, which I think was, Unified Grand Prix. Just want to give them the credit. You had No Org and you had Zeus Gaming, and both these teams have players who have competed in LCS before. They have players who have competed in Academy before. And, they're really, I think this is a fantastic format. Like, you finally get to see the amateur scene supported in a way that it never really has before. And you finally get to see, those amateur teams taking on the Academy teams and being able to say, hey, Scouts, well, what Scouts NA has, I can't really.
We're not going to comment on that one.
On the quality of NA Scouts. Maybe they're going to get a little bit better after this year. But, finally getting to say, hey, GMs, you did wrong when you signed this guy over me. And I think that's a fantastic way for these players who are now, stuck in amateur.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to say stuck, but who are now playing in amateur to really show what they're made of and go up against the guys who got hired in place of them.
Yeah, so actually I saw in chat here that someone, Poopy Rhino Pickle, was asking, where do you see the college university scene fitting into the academy scene? So I feel like you've touched upon that a little bit already. Knox, do you have any take, or Sandy? Do you have anything a little bit more to specifically hone in on what they're asking?
I know for a fact Maryville University was allowed to participate in, I think what you said earlier, Sandy, the Unified Grand Prix. I know they participated in one of the tournaments and they just did not make it very far. Whether that's just bad prep or they just didn't really try in it, I don't know, obviously. So Riot clearly doesn't mind having collegiate teams playing in some of these qualifiers, but I don't know the exact distinctions on the rules for what's allowed and what isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, had multiple
Oh, Sandy, you cut out a little bit there.
Universities coming through.
Or it seems on my end, Sandy,
dying.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm having a little connection issues from you. But you hopefully stabilize. I'm sorry, Sandy Toes. At least my take of all this is I think that this definitely gives a lot more chance to discover some more talent that we didn't realize was really out there, and show how important it is finding comfortable teammates. Can be a little more important than finding raw talent, because I feel like that might be a case of what's happening when you have these teams, like these quote-unquote lower tier teams beating out academy teams on the same stage. Sandy, you look a little more stable on my end now, so if you want to go back to what you were saying.
Yeah, if you guys can hear me all right.
We can hear you now.
All right, sweet. So I was just going to say that Winthrop University was another one of those teams.
Yes, forgot about them.
Winthrop was there throughout most of the thing. I'm pulling up a list of the teams that were in the Tier 2 circuit. You also had like Illinois State, Bay State College.
Oh, so there were actually quite a few then.
But none of them really went super far. I think. Yeah, there were a few. Maryville has always been one of those in the college scene that's always been super competitive. I really want to say that that's where Niles and Iconic came from. I don't
Yep.
want to accidentally,
I know for a
so that's
fact
where they
Niles
came from.
was.
Okay, yeah, and I'm pretty sure Iconic was playing with him there. So I think, yeah, the college scene can be a really good source of amateur and academy talent. I think I would not necessarily equate the college scene with academy at all. I don't think I don't think it's close. I would equate most college teams with amateur, and you even see that Maryville not even qualifying for proving grounds. Several of the other amateur teams qualifying over them.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely can compete, right? They definitely can put up a fight, but it's definitely I would say maybe like amateur light. It's for me it's not there, but it's still I think a great source of players and being able to see the next generation of LCS talent.
Absolutely.
I have never complained about having more competition. More competition is never a bad thing.
More content, more competition, more players. I'm here for it. Maybe I can make my way onto the scene and no, not at all. I'm a little too old. I do see another question in chat, and I want to answer this one quickly before we move along. Reborn Live TV is asking how we feel about the new champ. I assume they're talking about Viego, and its soon entrance to programs.
I think Gwen actually.
Well, I don't think Gwen's not going to be entering pro play just because she's being released very shortly. I think they're talking Viego because that's going to be entering pro play.
I know Viego's actually banned throughout MSI because he's still so bugged, so he shouldn't be entering pro scene anytime soon.
No, well, when he does enter it, I want to see Jose Dioto pop off on him. That's all. That's what I want. But if we are talking about Gwen here,
you want the Viego in the jungle. I mean, I've seen a lot of Viego top lane. That's where
he's a little bit both. He's meant to be a jungler, but he can also top lane. In which case, I would also like to see him played by Licorice because I feel like it's a similar play style to Aatrox.
I've just seen a lot of them from my gray screen. That's all I know.
If we're talking Gwen, though, from the very limited knowledge we have, I think it'll be interesting to see how she plays in, because it's been interesting to see how Seraphine works in pro play, and in Samira and all that stuff. So if it's anything like that, they'll have definitely a month of like Surgents where they're really good, and then maybe fall off slowly as they get nerfed, and then work their way back in by Worlds. But Reborn did confirm they're talking about Viego, so yeah. Whenever the Viego gets introduced, I just want to see Jose Dioto go full send.
Go ham.
Yeah. Probably the earliest we'll get to see Viego in pro play if they work
Summer split.
Summer splits.
Yeah, summer split.
Yep.
Or you could go dig up some LCO VODs where they were accidentally not letting him, or not universally banning him for a week, and you can go look at the 4 games he got played there.
100 Talk, thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, quick shout out to them. I was playing in one of their Rec League games. Go sign up for some Rec League the next time they're doing it. I was playing with a Viego, and oh man, Viego can do some nasty stuff.
I think we should get this moving along a little bit more. So let's talk about. Do we want to talk about Arena Legends now?
Yeah, let's get FlyQuest specific. That's what the show's for.
Because that's what we're here for. So let's talk FlyQuest at Arena of Legends. That was to start off, I think it was a very impressive run. It was interesting how we had we had a consistency of reverse sweeping. We always gave them the first match, and then we won the next 2, and then we gave them the first match, and then we won the next 2. It was just so interesting to watch, and I had a feeling that was going to happen with TL2 because we didn't win until the 3rd match. So that's a quick summary of how everything went down. Because who did we face first?
Immortals.
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 Yeah, Immortals round 1. Then EG round 2. We made it to winners finals where we reverse swept 100 Academy, and then lost to TL Academy. And honestly, the TL Academy loss isn't too surprising. I mean, TL Academy is clearly one of the best.
Really, really good.
They're so good. Yeah, if you look at the stats for them in regular season, I believe they've got
They finished second behind Cloud9.
yeah, they finished second behind Cloud9. And then I was looking at their numbers earlier, but they were just their KDAs for Arena of Legends were just absolutely off the charts. They looked so good as a team. And what's interesting about them is, there's such a young team too. Like not a lot of,
they're young.
Yeah, young talent. So not too surprising of a loss, I would say, in that final.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, you guys probably saw me on Twitter the whole time. I was like, "Oh, reverse sweep again! Here it comes! Oh, there it was!" And then next time, let's do it again.
When I was watching the VODs,
the whole way.
When I was watching the VODs, I saw your name in the chat because it still has the logs of the Twitch chat. So I saw you typing about the same things. But I want to talk about, so the way I see it, there's 3 big things to talk about. I guess maybe 4, is their performance in Immortals and EG, because I feel like that was about the same. 100 Thieves was a little different run, and then of course Team Liquid. So with Immortals and EG, what I saw there was a lot, most importantly, a lot of consistency and flexing of our bot lane. I'm really confident in Tomo and Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
They are so good. They are an amazing duo. Dreams has a lot of, Dreams on Thresh is very powerful, and he shows that he's got a lot of really good shot calling, and I saw him helping out all of his teammates throughout all of that. And then Tomo's agency on Kai'Sa, oh man, it was some very impressive play, and you really saw them in those first 2 ones kind of picking up. I'm not saying anyone got carried, but if anyone did get carried, it was them doing the carrying,
Yes.
And then I also saw a good amount from NXI, and that was kind of consistent throughout. I didn't get to see it when we did that whole preseason showdown or whatever that was called, but that's because it was a different caliber, and again, the whole new teams. But I saw a lot of good things in terms of macro play and neutral objectives and farming. Oh my gosh, someone get this man some overalls and a straw hat. Because he was so good at farming. I saw him up at, I want to say 40 CS over his opponent at one point, 400. I could be wrong on that. But what about you guys? What did you see from Immortals and EG?
Go for it, Sandy.
Yeah, so I mean, the big things that I saw in those series was putting Kumo on a pretty stable top laner, so a lot of Gnar. There was so much played in those series, which is good. I think Gnar's a really safe top lane pick. It's not gonna absolutely carry the game, but it will set up it. I think I've seen a lot of good chatter on the Twitter sphere about how when you're playing against a Gnar, you kind of have to be a little brain dead at times to walk into his ultimate. It's one of the most telegraphed ultimates of all time. There's literally a bar that charges up and shows you when he's about to go Mega Gnar and use his ulti on you. But somehow people still walk into it all the time. I think I'm remembering one particular, I think it was like a 1v3 that Kumo was in, where he went Mega Gnar and then just swept all 3 of the diving opponents into his own tower and got out. It was one of those incredible pop-off moments. But yes, putting Kumo on the Gnar, really good. And then a lot of scaling. So you had a lot of scaling. You put, you had Tomo on Sivir. There was a Sivir Not game, which was super interesting to me. You had him on the Jhin. Later in the series, a lot of Kai'Sa. So it felt like they were playing for stable lanes, and making sure that Tomo would be the late game carry. It felt like they would give Triple a lot of control mages. They did throw him on the Lucian a couple times, I saw. But basically
he was getting target banned on it too.
Yeah, which is that's good. If you've got champion that your opponents know you're really good on, and you're getting target ban, that's one less ban that they have against some OPs or against the rest of your team. But yeah, pretty standard stuff across the board, and I was pretty impressed. Yeah, what about you, Knox?
No, I was fairly impressed as well. You covered top lane pretty much perfectly. My only other addition would be really is just watch for triple to be put on some form of global response mode, basically. So whether it be the Twisted Fate or the Galio, he's always got teleport. Really, just play wise, he's just very quick to respond on different parts of the map. A lot of the time, it's being spent either trying to get the bot lane or head, and in which case there was a lot of instances of where Kumo just being the weak side top laner, especially against the EGA series where it was constant Jason and Nar does not win that matchup. There was a lot of time spent for triple teleporting top lane to make sure Kumo's just not getting his butt beat too badly, which is absolutely fine if you want to play weak side, and that's what the TF is for. So yeah, he does a lot of that, and at any point if FlightQuest isn't feeling the need to do a global comp, or not global comp, basically play the map like that, they can absolutely put him on either the Azir, the Lucian, or the Tristana, and he does absolutely fine there too. And the bot lane was doing fantastic. I had no qualms there. I think I saw at a minimum 5 different 2v2 kills the entire time. They were just destroying everyone's bot lane. And then, like I said, Takuma was playing weak side, and then NXI is just doing his thing. So I had no complaints. I loved watching at least the first 2 series.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk expectations for FlyQuest Academy in Proving Grounds. I mean, what do we think is going to be, a realistic finish for them? What should we hope for?
Well, so if we are jumping into Proving Grounds already, before that, I just did want to say that, well, I guess I can tie it into this. So with Proving Grounds, I'm kind of more looking at 100 Thieves and Team
TL.
Liquid ones, because I got a little more critical there. But at the same time, well, with 100 Thieves, I did see Kumo kind of show that he can play the game himself, especially with that last 100 Thieves fight or game where it started out with like a really long fight where everyone kept dying, respawning, and dying, respawning.
You were telling me to watch that, Curly, and I was like cracking up watching
it. Was insane.
So
it was
funny.
Insane. But what impressed me there is it started off with me thinking that Kumo was going to die, and he didn't. He stayed alive, and that started the revolving door of death. And so I want to see that kind of thing, not necessarily the revolving door of death. I mean, as cool as it is, but that agency where
we can pass that revolving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But where he can take those early level trades and give himself an advantage, and not just play the I'm going to sit here and not lose. I'm going to sit here and apply pressure. So that's something I definitely kind of want to see from Kumo in Proving Grounds. And I also, with I think a huge issue with the Team Liquid run was I didn't, admittedly, because I was watching all of them today, I didn't watch the draft phases, but we didn't get Kaisa in a single game, and they had Kaisa, I want to say, every single game.
They did, and I'll cover that in here in a second. Continue.
And so, like, a champ like that, where we've seen that that Tomo can do really well on them, and that has proven across the board to be a pro play meta pick, like almost certain win condition, not guaranteed, but very high win rates from what I've seen. That's kind of a little bit of an issue. And again, I didn't watch the draft, so I don't know if it was just insta-locked by TL whenever they got the chance or not, but that's just something I saw there.
Yeah, the draft for us in TL, the TL series was straight up we got read. Like Spawn, who's the coach for TLA, like completely read our game plan the first 2 games. And so literally all 4 games that were played were the exact same draft order for TL. It was Kaisa, Gnar, and then the support pick, which I'm blanking on right now. in which case we, of course, were trying to do our thing of like, okay, well, let's try to go for map manipulation, our great macro, which, hey, by the way, in case we didn't mention it, FlightQuest Academy has amazing macro. Watch for that. But
Fantastic.
basically, that was our game. That was our game plan. Was just like, all right, let's go for a map play. Let's go for a macro. In which case, TL was like, all right, fine. We'll match you with Nocturne mid, and then we'll match you with the Silas as a counter pick. And so it just the entire time when we were on blue side, they were counter picking our top and our mid on both sides, and it was just like, oh my god, this is such a hard matchup to play for us. We can't do what we want because they're just constantly matching us on every part of the map and getting the counter, and it just sucked. And so game 3 comes along, and it's like we switch it up. We go to red side, and we go for a normal skirmish-based one, and we go for the level 1 invade, and it turns out okay, but it absolutely screws Tomo in the bot lane, and to this day, I still don't know how we won that match. Like, did you guys watch game 3 of that one?
Of the TL one, yes, I did watch game 3.
Yeah, we were down so much gold in that one, and I don't know how we won it.
We
and
pulled it. I'm gonna chalk that up to NXI, not solely NXI, but I'm gonna chalk it up to him and his objective plays, because we secured some critical barons and stuff, and like not even that, we just made some really good weak point moves that allowed us to win that one.
And then game 4 at that point was just kind of a bit of a rollover at that point. TL basically was like, oh, okay, no, we goofed on that one. Then here's how it should go, and then it was just done.
So now this spawned off us talking about our expectations for Proving Grounds. And so,
yes, there we go.
No, that's okay. So with that, our expectations for Proving Grounds, I think, are look out for these potential draft snipes like Spawn did. Make sure when you're doing the draft phase that you pay attention to what champions you've seen excel, not just on your team, but across the board, and make sure you get them or you ban them. Like Kaisa, if you can't guarantee that you are going to give that to Tomo, get it out of there. Don't let anyone have it. Make sure you get Tomo on Xayah and Rakan, but they don't have the Kaisa to counter Xayah, because Xayah, admittedly, I know some people talk about Xayah being a counter to Kaisa. I don't think it's solid enough. I don't think it's solid enough to counter Kaisa. So just get rid of Kaisa and show us how good you are at the Xayah Rakan bot lane. You know, that's one big thing. And then,
or since you've got Dreams on the team, I mean, the Xayah Thresh is also really good. If you can get the Kaisa Thresh is really good. I know Dreams, I believe, was well known over in LEC for his Thresh. So clearly, if that champ isn't targeted in the ban phase by opposing teams, get this man on the Thresh. Let him land those hooks, set up those plays.
Yeah, their big duo bot lane is the Aphelios Thresh. They played it multiple times throughout the tournament, and it was wrecking bot lane for most teams. Like, they were constantly getting 2v2 kills with it.
Yep. Yeah, first matchup is up against Evil Genius's Academy. I think they qualified through the second Tier 2 qualifier. So they did not make top 6 in Academy season, and then didn't make it through the first qualifier, so they made it all the way through in the second qualifier. They beat Evil Genius's Prodigies in that tournament. It's a little bit of a EG civil war there, but FlightQuest did beat them. I think it was the first game of the Academy season, so they have the head-to-head now. Of course, that was like 5-6 patches ago, so but I still think I would say FlightQuest is probably favored in this one. I would,
especially with their performance at Academy against EGA, because they also did well against them. In chat here, Legacy Guitarist is asking us, why do you think they're not running Jinx Thresh bot, especially with Dream's proficiency on Thresh?
I think it's a matter of, at least in my opinion, Aphelios does what Jinx does, but just better, in which case Tomo's more comfortable with the Aphelios.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, we've been seeing them play a lot more of these scaling comps, and Aphelios just kind of slots right into that. I'm not always a big fan of the scaling because it, forces you to, not make any mistakes in the early game and, not get run over. So you have to play very safe. And, we see in Academy all the time that these games can just like go absolutely crazy at any given moment. So I don't know if I have the trust right now to watch us play scaling. But of course, it is Academy. We want these players to learn. We want them to develop. So it's not like this is an LCS. We're not trying to make mid-season showdown or championship or anything like that.
Not taking on the LPL over here.
Yeah, we're not.
World.
Yeah, well, hey, this is Academy World. This is Spring Academy Worlds. This is big. This is proving grounds. Good. We should be expected to see the Academy boys, make it through. I would say first few rounds. They've got a bit of a tough bracket. I don't know if what I'm seeing on lol.fandom is accurate, because it seems if they win, they'll play the winner of 100 Thieves Academy or CLG Academy, which you would expect 100 Thieves Academy to be the favored one there. So if they go up against 100 Thieves, that could be a bit of a tough one. Luckily, as Nox mentioned earlier, this is a double elimination bracket, so they would just fall down there if they were to lose. Maybe make a loser's run, or who knows, maybe they beat 100 Thieves Academy. That's certainly possible, and anything can happen. It's Academy, who knows. So
I guess in terms, while we're on this, then do we want to do quick? I wasn't prepared for this, but do we want to do quick round one predictions of at least Fly, like our section of the bracket, Fly, EG, 100, and CLG?
Yeah, I mean, we could.
We can. I'm gonna look like an idiot.
Hey, we could run through it. I mean, why not? Hey.
This is just gonna be real quick. It's probably no more than 2-3 minutes, and defend your take. So, Nox.
It's not like this video will be saved, for the rest of eternity for people to watch.
Hey, look.
We're doing that technical error that we did last time, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Don't forget to delete the VOD.
Okay? So, Nox, you want to get us started with your predictions for who will win, and then who will move on to take on the upper.
I'm just doing the whole upper side of the bracket. So like Cloud9.
So you're just doing Fly, EG, 100, and CLG. That's only our section.
Okay.
Only the ones, like the 2 potential guaranteed games we have.
Okay. I would say, I'm nervous about this, and I was going to go on a little tangent about this. I mean, I'm still going to give it to Fly. I think they have it in them. Fantix and Loyota are super smart coaches. They know what they're doing.
Loyota the Dragon.
Yep. However, I do want to note that Peter Dunn, who's been coaching the actual Evil Geniuses team, has been for the past week or so coaching the Evil Geniuses Academy team as well. And I personally put a lot of respect on his name. I think he's a really good coach.
Peter's fantastic.
I just putting the respect out there. He's good. So I have faith in the boys, though. I have faith in Fantix. I have faith in Loyota. They know what they're doing, but expect it to be a bloody series, just like how it was in Arena of Legends. I'll give it to Fly there, and then straight 100 Thieves Academy is better than CLG Academy. CLG Academy was in all 3 amateur tournaments, I believe, 2 of them, not 3. They were in 2 out of the 3 amateur tournaments, in which case they didn't make it very far in the second one, and they did pretty damn well in the third, if I'm being honest. But 100 Thieves Academy is just a tier above CLG, so no shocker here, 100 Thieves Academy. So I'm expecting the rematch there.
So then Fly versus 100, who wins?
Man, watching I would not be... Okay, I love you guys, but... Because we did not deserve to win that series against 100 Thieves in Arena of Legends. We straight didn't. Like, that second game was, like, it should have been a 2-0 for 100 Thieves. That second game, the only reason we won that second game was due to Demonte going a little bit silly in their jungle and us punishing him. And then same for Tenacity going in on the Baron pit when we were on it while Demonte was dead. And so it was like, okay, just go in one by one and kill yourselves, I guess, whatever. And then suddenly we had control of the Baron, and because we're so damn good at macro play, we had so much of the map taken that we had Baron ready to go, and we just marched up and we ended the game basically after almost throwing again, but we can ignore that part.
Okay. So are you saying you think 100 Thieves will win that then?
I think we'll win the first round against EGA, and then we'll drop down to loser bracket after playing 100 Thieves. That is my prediction.
All right, Sandy?
To put it simply.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't be a homer all the time. You gotta have some realistic expectations. Yeah, I for similar reasons, I'm in agreement with Knox. I think probably will beat EG Academy. Probably I'll go with the 2-0. I'll go for the confident 2-0. But yeah, I think 100 Thieves Academy, they're so good. Luger is an incredible talent. You've got Demonte, who, I'm ready for. I'm just saying, I'm ready for Tanner time to come back to the LCS. And Tenacity I think he's just a next generational top lane talent. That guy's going to be in LCS in no time at all. So yeah, I would not be shocked to see us drop to lower bracket out of in round 2. But I think after that, and who knows how the bracket will look at that point.
Yeah, it'll
There's a lot of
definitely look
really interesting
wild.
matchups.
My
yeah,
opinion.
there's just like some spicy matchups. I'm looking at like.
There's a lot
I really
of
want
stuff
to
here.
see like No Org going up against Golden Guardians Academy like that. That might be, if you're looking for a match where an amateur team could upset an academy team, that would definitely be one. I'm excited.
There's a lot we can discuss with the other matchups. That's why I focus just in on this part so we don't go down too many tangents.
Yeah, I do. I just want to shout out one more: Zeus Gaming versus TSM Academy. That's going to be super interesting to watch as well.
Oh yes.
So many good ones.
My predictions. So my predictions for this section. I'm in line with you guys. I think we're going to beat out Fly Academy. I think it's going to be a little bit of a gritty match. We're not going to beat. We are Fly Academy. We're going to beat out EG. 100 Thieves, of course. Sorry, CLG. Of course, 100 Thieves is going to win that one. I have full confidence in them. And this now, Fly versus 100 Thieves, I think Fly might be able to have it. If they took the same notes that we did, as we were just talking about, if they take those same notes going into their fight against 100 Thieves, I think we'll be able to pull it out of, not out of our ass. I think we'll be able to confidently do it. I think it might be a 2-1. I don't know if it'll be reverse sweep. I don't know what it'll be, but I think we're going to be able to do it. And
for sure.
But of course, you know me, I apparently have some hot takes.
I mean, I do believe in Loyota supremacy. If you can access a dragon emote in Twitch chat, spam a couple dragon emotes for Loyota. We'll send those over to him. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Yeah, I think certainly if we make it to Fly versus 100 Academy, that'll be a spicy matchup, and I'm really excited to see how that one goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for clarification, by the way, I think it's a 45-55 matchup against 100 Thieves. It's not gonna be. I think 100 Thieves will edge it out, but it's damn close.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right. Of course, I've been wrong about 100 Thieves as a whole organization, apparently. Very much before, as we saw by this weekend.
We can get to that here in a second.
Yeah. I mean, I guess before we move on to roasting me about my hot takes with LCS playoffs, do we have any last things we want to touch upon when it comes into Proving Grounds?
Well, I'll just say it starts tomorrow night. FlyQuest Academy's game is, I think, the second match of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Not exact. I think the time it'll be 8 o'clock Eastern. First match is C9 Academy versus Dignitas Mirage. Dignitas's amateur team. So be sure to tune in, support the boys. I'm excited to see them play. Excited to watch my boy Tomo just absolutely pop off on whatever champ they give him. I don't care what they give him. Tomo's popping off. You've heard it here first. So,
I agree with that.
Now let's spend just a few minutes now talking about LCS playoffs and how wrong I was this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, we could roast you for hours on this one.
Yeah, you need some burn ointment coming up here in a second.
All right.
What you need?
All right. So, Curly, let's remind the good people. Give us what your initial predictions were for playoffs.
Well, actually, conveniently, I have them all here.
Wow, look at that! By the power
don't get me wrong. We're all gonna get roasted here, but Curly was in the oven for a while.
So we all agreed that 100 Thieves was gonna fall out immediately, as with EG. However, I really thought Dignitas was going to go far. I thought they were going to get third, as you can see here. And so the fact that I'm pretty sure it was a 3-0 with 100 Thieves versus Dignitas.
Yeah. Bit of a tough one. And like that third game, that was like that third game
was tilting off the face of the earth.
Yeah, oh, the mental boom was insane. You could just like they were just like gone. It was like, oh, okay, this is I can't even watch this. It was rough. I mean, yeah, it was bad.
Oh, yeah. No. And then I also had TSM beating TL, and that didn't happen either, did it?
Nope.
No. So I'm just so wrong. So wrong about everything. Because I don't know. I think I had so much faith in Power of Evil on TSM. And so little faith in like Jensen or really TL as a whole. And I forgot that Alfari existed for a second. And so my naivety...
You can't forget about Alfari.
I know. Can't forget about Alfari, but I did. And so in my naivety, I was like, yeah, Power of Evil means TSM wins. No.
Dude, don't get me wrong. I thought Power of Evil should have been first pro all team, but that doesn't stop Alfari from dominating top lane for now in LCS.
And as I said, I should have taken that more into account because in our first podcast, which is unfortunately consigned to the void, I did talk about how I think topside is a lot more important this season across the board. So it's kind of hypocritical of me to not take that into account in this matchup. So yeah, and then with 100 Thieves, I mean, I guess it's proving that an all-NA team can only go so far.
Depressing, but it is what it is.
It is what it is right now. New segment idea, Curly makes... Here's the thing. I'm an agent of chaos. I love the idea. Like, if I could, I would do a pure upset bracket, but I want to at least, like, make top 50% of Nox Wars pick'ems.
Well, I mean, you could be my girlfriend who predicts 100 Thieves 3-0, and I'm sitting here poking fun of her the whole weekend, and then it happens, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe you should start listening to her for your predictions.
Yeah,
maybe we all should.
She's got her predictions pinned on the 100 Talk Discord. Like if you go into the spoiler zone for the 100 Talk Discord, her predictions literally pinned up there.
Well, here you go. Coming up this weekend, we'll watch Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. Absolute banger of a match. Looking forward to that. And also TSM 100 Thieves, another banger. I know the 100 Talk guys are looking forward to discussing that. So they're going to be on at, I think, 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern. So go over and I'll put a link in the chat later to their podcast. But yeah, looking forward to those matches. I mean, what do you guys, just maybe quick, like 15, 30-second takes on those two matchups, C9TL, 100 TSM, guys?
You can take it first, Curly. Or I can go first.
No, I'll go first.
Okay.
We gotta get the wrong prediction out of the way, you know?
I am still going to have... I'm still going to say C9 wins here, as I have it before. C9 is just kind of showing that they are really, like, not a team to be messed with this season. Even when they play sloppily, they can pull some things out. And I think, Perks has finally learned how to play mid lane instead of ADC. He's finally made that transition. And so, like, with all that, I think C9 is it's going to be a tough one because C9 and TL are same level. And so I think we're going to see two... if TL lose here, do they go to losers bracket? It's double elimination, right?
Yes,
so I think we're going to...
They'll play the winner of TSM 100 Thieves.
So I personally think we're actually going to be seeing two C9 TL matches in the whole thing. We're going to see C9 beat TL here, and then we're going to see TL beat TSM, and then we're going to see C9 versus TL again, just like it was in the preseason showdown, or whatever they call that thing. Lock-in. That's what it was called. The lock-in tournament. So with
Yeah,
that,
Knox.
I also think that TSM will beat 100 Thieves. I think I underestimated 100 Thieves, but I still
Me too.
think they're not quite good enough to beat TSM.
Yeah, Knox. How do you feel about these games?
Yeah, TL C9 gonna be. It could go either way, honestly. I personally believe that TL will come out. I'm gonna say 3-1 right here, right now. I know it's kind of a cop out answer, but I legitimately believe that's what it'll be. And then I think it'll be TSM beating 100 Thieves again. Sorry, I love 100 Thieves, but I don't see them coming out on top of that match. I think honestly that'll probably be another 3-1 because knowing TSM's drafts, they'll probably throw a game away somewhere in there. Um, I will say though, I know on our little prediction sheets I have TSM second. Watching him so far in playoffs, I don't think that's going to happen. So I honestly won't be surprised if we end up seeing another rematch of Cloud9 Team Liquid at the very end of the grand finals.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with both of y'all. I think Cloud9 TL. First of all, it's gonna be a great match. Really looking forward to it. And then I don't know who's gonna win. I do know the loser of that match will definitely beat whoever wins TSM 100 Thieves, which I think also I think it's gonna be TSM there. But I think C9 TL. I know I said C9 at the top of the playoffs. It was my prediction. I'm starting to lean towards TL a little bit. I think they're starting to come online. I
Join
think
the dark blue, baby.
I think Tactical's played a little bit better. I think Alfaro is really good. I would not be surprised to see them. I think, man, this is so tough. I think I'm still gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go C9, but you know what? I'll make it a 3-2. I think it's gonna be. We're gonna get some silver scrapes. C9 3-2. And then TSM, TL will beat TSM, and we'll do another rematch, and maybe we'll have time for another podcast before then, so we'll actually get to talk finals. But yeah, I mean it's going to be a great weekend. Some awesome League Legends. LEC is also going on. You got
LEC is insane right now.
LEC is nutty.
LEC is wild. But we could get into a whole thing about that. I'm LC. I'm a huge LEC fan, but we're here to talk
Y'all got another
FlightQuest.
hour free to talk about LEC.
All I'm gonna say, if we're talking LEC, all I'm gonna say is that after this week, and G2's gotta look out if they want to maintain their supposed domination over the LEC. That's all.
For those of you who don't know, Curly is a secret, but not so secret, Fnatic fan as well. That's his EU team. So he's got a little bit of a bias against G2 going on, just a little bit.
Just a tad. They just stole Reckless.
All right.
Anyway.
Real quick. Got a viewer question here from, I believe he's been in Twitch chat tonight, from a polite platypus. So this one, Knox and Curly have not heard this question. So this is straight guessing for them. How competitive do you think Ivern could be right now in either jungle or support? What kind of team comp would best fit that style of play if FlyQuest wanted to support the trees? Right, it's Ivern's a big, tree support character. So FlyQuest was to bust him out. Where's he going? Jungle, support. What does Ivern need right now to be competitively viable in LCS?
Oh man, you are asking. Wow. You're asking a bronze 1 Poppy 1 trick who's slowly trying to get back into silver. About pro play?
I mean, I can take it if you want.
Yeah, you can start off. I gotta think about this.
So, going off of Jose Dioto's champion pool and what he's been playing and what he's comfortable on, I mean, the man's known for his Lee Sin, right? He's been playing Udyr, he's playing Hecarim, champions that typically have a lot of early game presence. I mean, Hecarim not so much, but usually has a lot of early game presence. Not like supportive champions. So I don't really see Jose Dioto ever picking up the champion. Dreams, on the other hand, I could see on the off chance if Johnson wants to play with it, but I just don't see a world where Johnson wants to play with Ivan support. I don't. Sorry. I like Ivan too. He's a cool champion. I wish he was played more competitive, but at least for players on our team, I don't see him getting played for us.
Yeah.
What do you think? What does it take to, like, forget FlyQuest for a moment? What would it take, do you think, to see Ivern be viable? Like, what kind of team comp would you need to build around Ivern?
Well, I don't think it would just be team comp. I think it would be the patch. You'd have to find the right patch for him, for one. So that's one thing. Like, you'd need definitely, I think, Poopy Rhino said, double all his stats. Maybe not double, but you definitely need to boost some of his stats. It needs to be another patch where Moonstone and Staff of Flowing Water are a little more powerful like they would. Like, those are two key things you'd want, especially if you had him in a support role. As for team comp, you'd need to make sure you have champs that can take advantage of him just instantly killing 2 buffs. You know, him being able to give away buffs like he does. You'd need champs that could perfectly use that. Like, for a blue buff, you'd need a mage that can just... that has a lot of, like, mana cost. So the fact that he has that boost... like, it's so tough because Ivern is such an interesting champ, and I don't know the details of him, you know, personally. There's a lot of conditions that would have to be right. But I would love to see it. I would love to see it so much.
So, yes, I think it'd be fun to watch. I love seeing him in pro play, but unfortunately, at least currently, I don't think he's all that viable.
I think that's totally fair. Sorry, Mr. Polite Platypus. Maybe eventually we'll get a patch that works for Ivern, but I don't know if Season 11 is going to be that. We'll see. We'll keep checking those patch notes and seeing if there's any big buffs or item changes that'll get Ivern to a place that we see that tree. I don't even. Is he actually just a tree? I was going to call him a tree lover. But,
so actually, no. He used to be a tree hater, and then the forest said, "Hey, you're gonna die and become the trees."
Okay.
Like, Ivern straight up is the soul of a person who cut down the wrong tree.
Bark, but, you know, okay.
Like, that's a very dumbed down summary of it, but yeah, no. Because I'm pretty sure Ivern was originally a Noxian.
Okay.
Huh.
And I think he cut down the wrong tree, and so the forest said, "F you. You are now all the trees." Oh, man. But speaking of FlyQuest initiatives, like you said, trees and all that stuff and all those world things, there's actually one thing I wanted to ask you guys before we come to a wrap-up, because I think we have talked about a lot of the things that we want to talk about, is MeQuest. How have you guys been doing in MeQuest? Have you done anything today in terms of that? Like, do a quick checkup. Sandy, how are you doing in MeQuest this week?
Well, let's see. I mean, first of all, we had there's preparation. Well, that's one of the combos, but you know, there's hobby. So I'm doing hobby right now, talking a little League of Legends, talking a little LCS.
I'll pick that one too.
Yep, I think Nox and I are also sharing this next one. After this, I'm gonna go hit the gym, do a little bit of physical, and then you know, there's also you know what, the third one I'm gonna do this week is organization. I got a lot of things going on. I got this podcast. I got some other projects I'm working on. So I got to kind of get all my ducks in a row, make sure I've got all that taken care of. But yeah, I've really appreciated. For those of you guys who don't know, FlyQuest just announced their first ever side quest, and they're calling it MeQuest. They're working with our latest streamer guy, Voyboy, the kid, the classic. Everyone knows him. You love him. When he sits on those stairs, you know things are getting serious. So MeQuest, it's all over their Twitter right now. So there's 7 different categories you can go do, just various tasks. Just to, you know, during this pandemic, you know, things can get really tough. It's important to stay, you know, checked up on your mental health. And there's different categories you can do. Enter in their little raffle for a secret prize. Yeah, Nox, tell me about your MeQuest. What's been going on for you this week?
Like I said, same thing as you, doing my hobby right now. This is my little passion project, so I'm loving this right now. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and thankfully you guys have helped make it happen, so I appreciate you guys. The other thing is physical, in which case my legs can confirm they did have a hard workout today, and I haven't been in an actual gym in a while, and oh my god. And then the other thing is I don't know what this would technically fall under, but I guess I'll put it under health or success or yeah how to or we'll go success and organization. I'm currently studying paramedicine right now, so I got some good studying in today too.
Nice. That's great. Curly, how about you, man?
Well, so for me, of course, gonna start out with the hobby, but in a different way than you guys are doing. I earlier today was just playing my ukulele before stream, before my personal stream of mine, because I picked up a ukulele before 2019 school year and all that stuff, and I just slowly learned how to play it, and I can't. I'm not the best at it, but I have a couple melodies I've made myself and all that stuff, so I played my ukulele. And then in terms of people, I'm going to count this because it was the same day. It was before the side quest was announced, but it was in the morning on Friday. With people, I grabbed coffee with one of my best friends, and we hadn't seen each other in a minute. And we got really deep. We had a really deep conversation. So it wasn't just a catch up thing. It was like really deep. And so that's my people.
That's great.
So I've got hobby and people. And then one last thing I've done. I guess what I can do after this is I don't know if it would count on equivalent of a bike ride, but I actually have a longboard. And so I think I can go out for a nice little stroll on my longboard. Otherwise, tomorrow I've got some beautiful trails nearby, and the weather's supposed to be pretty decent where I'm at. So I might go take a nice hike to do that physical.
Nice.
That's sweet. That's great. Well, yeah. So yeah, guys, check out MeetQuest. Be sure to hashtag that up. Let the org know what you're doing for your mental health every week. And you can enter the raffle that they are putting on. We don't know exactly what it is that you can win, but it's probably going to be some pretty sweet stuff. So be sure to check that out. And I think we're probably wrapping up here, if I'm right. So I just want to, give the floor to you guys. Any quick shout-outs? Knox, anything you want to shout out real fast?
Shout out to FlyQuest. Shout out to the Academy team for sure, especially to Loyota and Fantix and Triple and Toma, just the whole team. Honestly, I mean, they've been awesome to watch and super interactive on Twitter. Believe it or not, like go follow them on Twitter, guys. They're super interactive with their fans, and I love chatting with them. So if you guys want, go give them some attention and love.
Sweet. Curly, anything you want to shout out?
I absolutely also want to shout out FlyQuest. Like, as I quoted in my tweet when they tweeted about MeetQuest, is I love how dedicated they are to the community. And as always, how much assistance we got in getting this started, making sure we were doing things right, that we weren't infringing upon any copyright things, and that we were still representing the team that we love. And so a personal shout out to Drek, of course. Drek is an amazing
always.
community leader.
Drek. Yeah.
And so, and then also Massey, the social media manager, she's been killing it, especially like with the slow incorporation of like FlyQuest Discord memes outside of FlyQuest Discord. The fact that I saw a Tim Kench on Twitter from FlyQuest was beautiful. It was beautiful. So shout out to those two.
Road Roller.
Yeah, man.
And Sandy Toes, I think I know who you're going to shout out.
So quick shout out, FlyQuest, absolutely, the Academy team. Shout out to co-hosts Knox, Curly, thanks for doing this as always. Two other ones, wanted to note that Licorice Interview we were talking about earlier, that was done by the man, Travis Gafford. Go check out that interview on his channel. It's really, really good. Check out his other content. I know Hotline League is starting up later tonight, probably an hour and a half or so. Go watch that. I'll be there in the chat. And also wanted to give a shout out to the dudes over at 100 Talk. 100 Talk, man. Those guys have been super kind to us. Very helpful as we're getting our own podcast off the ground. They're also going to be doing their podcast, I think, at around 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Actually, about 20 minutes.
Oh, they're starting it real soon? All right, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so give them a view. Go hop into their chat and tell them the FlightCheck crew sent you. But for all of us, this was episode 2 of FlightCheck. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and we will catch you all next time. Showcase greatness and stay safe out there, folks.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.